Today, boys, I am bringing to you something magical, something from beyond the fantasies of Elzagar. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm just a little bit excited because I'm actually really looking forward to talking about this. Usually on my channel, I am talking about where we are heading as a species, or just interesting and philosophical videos that I enjoy discussing, okay? But today, boys, I'm bringing it down a little bit because now and then we need something to relax us. We need something to give us that joy, okay? And I never thought I would find it in a game because I kind of gave up, if you're not aware, on the gaming industry. I've talked about this before, but if you're new to the channel, check out my other videos. I discuss why the modern day gaming industry is completely poisoned now, with greedy developers, the same old rinse and repeat mechanics, the same old stuff that we see time and time again, and it's so tiresome because I've seen it so many times. They've got so greedy to the point that they release games that are completely in a bug mess state like Cyberpunk. The gaming industry has fallen in a trap of becoming such a toxic mess, and it's so clear and transparent just how corporatized and how capitalistic they have become, and all that they care about is money, okay? It used to be, back in the good old days, and it's not even that long ago, okay? I'm talking here like I'm some old boomer, but I'm only 23, okay? But when I played games back in the PlayStation 2 era and PlayStation 3 and stuff, okay, they would actually put effort, especially in the PS2. That was the best time to be alive for games, in my opinion, because they were getting up there. They were getting technologically advanced with 3D graphics like we see in Valheim. They still had so much soul and originality and different types of mechanics put into them. There are so many great games from that period, you know, like Beyond Good and Evil, Skyrim, Ratchet and Clank, Jak and Daxter. I could go on and on, okay? So many great games from that period of time. It seems in the recent years, the gaming industry has become so greedy and so disgusting that they just put false advertisements out. It's all just marketing now, and it's all just a load of BS to make it seem like it's worth your time. And a good analogy is pretty much most video games now are as wide as the ocean but as deep as a puddle, okay? And I think that's a pretty good saying because it's 100% true with modern day video games. And I basically gave up hope with the gaming industry, and I especially hate early access games because usually they are just half-baked. They are, of course, cash grabs, most of them, and they usually are never even finished, or they just kind of get lazy with it and call it finished when it's basically just in its alpha phase. But thank God, okay, because finally, boys, there has been a game that's actually good. There's been a game that's actually so goddamn good, and it actually captures my interest in video games once again. You know, I've been playing old video games when I do feel like playing games because they're the ones I enjoy the most. I'm playing GTA 4 at the moment, but I mean, it's not exactly old, but what I'm saying is I'm not playing any of these newer type games because they're just such soulless cash grabs. Modern day games basically expect you to be brain damaged or expect you to be 3 years old because they are so watered down, so simplified, and they're so easy, and they tell you everything. It holds your hand, and like I said, it's just the same old mechanics, and it just got me so tiresome of the gaming industry because it's not really surprising. Before, it used to be a niche market. Now gaming's become so mainstream. It's cool to be a gamer now, so of course it's become corporatized like everything else in this consumer capitalist world, but not Valheim. So today, boys, I'm going to be talking about why Valheim is amazing, why Valheim is the best video game I've played all year, and why Valheim is Game of the Year in my opinion, and why Valheim is so amazing, and what makes Valheim so good, okay? So if you enjoy Valheim, if you enjoy this type of content, smash like and subscribe if you're new, and check out my music down below on Spotify and Bandcamp. Support the music that I make, and support me by becoming a member of this great, beautiful community. It's a great time and place to be a sinner. So welcome back, my sinners, to another great video. What's the magic of Valheim, Savior? What's it all about? Sorry if I'm a little bit crazy today. I just got my vitamin D pills and I just smashed them up in a line and I snorted them up, and I'm just feeling pumped up because I get to discuss something of quality, something of soul. When I play Valheim, I actually feel the developer's soul. And you might think, Savior, you better ease up on that vitamin D. It's obviously making you a little bit crazy, Savior, okay? But no, Sonny Jim, let me tell you why. Valheim is made by a small group of developers, but they are industry masters apparently. In other words, that they've had experience with making games before, and of course it shows because this game is truly amazing. Before I start flying away with the fairies, let me just say that I'm not usually a fan of multiplayer games, and especially of these survival type games. I feel like there's a dime a dozen and they're all pretty much the same. So why do I love Valheim so much? Why do I think it's such a good game? The best way to describe Valheim, my sinners, is this, okay? First of all, Sunny Jim, do you like Skyrim? Yes? Okay, that's good. Do you like World of Warcraft? Okay, cool. Do you like Runescape? Well, of course, that was some of my great childhood memories. Do you like Zelda Breath of the Wild? Of course, these are all such good quality games. Well, imagine if all of these came together with a little bit of spice, a little bit of sprinkle of Dark Souls as well. They all came together in a big pile of moisture and moisturized all over each other and created a beautiful baby, and that baby, boys, is Valheim. So, that's right, if you like elements from those games, that's why you're gonna love Valheim. So let me explain why. So, Valheim, like I said, is a survival exploration game. And yes, okay, I know that sounds boring because like I said, I don't really like those types of games. There's so many of them out there and they're all usually the same. But this is very different, okay? First of all, let's deal with the aesthetics, okay? Because that's very important to me. Really gets my jolly rocker going, if you know what I'm saying, boys, okay? Because this game is so beautiful in its own weird way. It's basically just saying F you to the gaming establishment and the mainstream developers of games nowadays, because all of them are so hyper-focused of making everything look so close to reality as they possibly can get, like Last of Us Part 2, for example. They're all trying to get the super high fidelity graphics, okay? And this, boys, okay, doesn't make a good game. Just because something looks close to real, just because it looks absolutely amazing, doesn't make it good. I've played so many games where they look amazing, but they're completely soulless, okay? And that's because they focus so much on just the outer layer that they actually forget about the gameplay and the mechanics. Think of it this way, boys, okay? If you see a nice little woman walk across the street and she's like a supermodel, okay? You approach her and you ask her for her number and you say, hey, how about we go get some McDonald's burgers, go back to my place, put it in a blender and we'll have a McDonald's smoothie and Netflix and chill. That's what young kids do now, right? As you sit there on the couch, consuming your poison, okay, you start talking to her, you start getting things going, and then you realize, holy shit, this woman is goddamn stupid. She might as well be my hand because she's that interesting, okay? So what I'm saying is, aesthetics is in everything, okay? Having these super high graphics doesn't make a game good, and it seems like the mainstream developers don't seem to understand this, and they are so hyper focused on making games look so close to real, and if anything, it actually makes me not interested in them, because so many of these games are so similar now, you know, not just in their mechanics, but in looks. They all follow this hyper-realistic graphics, and that's just so boring. It's so boring to me, and I don't understand why the industry has gone this way. It's just so sad, and it really does piss me off, because I used to love video games, and they've just ruined it. They've taken all the fun out of it, and it's only because people have got nothing better to do that people are still consuming them so much, when actually video games nowadays just suck so much. Valheim does the complete opposite, okay? It's basically saying F you to all of these big developers, because the aesthetic of Valheim is so amazing, because it's low polygon graphics from the PlayStation 2 genre mixed with something very, very modern. So the lighting, the filtering, the shadows, the draw distance, the water, the volumetric light spaces, and the sun reflection, those aspects are from the modern generation, and it just makes it look absolutely gorgeous. But the base core of the graphics are very polygon and pixelated, and this just gives it such a unique feel, you know. So it's like Minecraft. I know everyone says it's like Minecraft. Ooh, it's like Minecraft. But yes, it kind of looks similar to Minecraft, but with super high graphics mixed in with a polygon pixelated design. So this game looks so amazing, and in fact the art design and the way the characters are built reminds me a lot of World of Warcraft. I don't know if that's just me, but it does look very much like World of Warcraft. I just think the characters and the models and just everything about it is so charming because it's just beautifully crafted. The incredible thing is it's all procedurally generated, but it looks so goddamn good. I just don't get it. I don't know how they did it. It's combining great graphics from the modern day gaming industry while showing that you don't actually need good graphics, you know, the actual style of graphics. They don't need to be super realistic, and I just love that so much. Now on to music. The music in this game is incredible. As a music producer myself, I know what makes good music, and goddamn does this have great music, okay? It's got perfectly balanced music, okay? The transitioning from when you enter a new zone to another zone is a little bit wonky sometimes, and I feel like the transitions could be slightly better, but they're not too bad, and the variation of music is so good in my opinion. It doesn't get too repetitive, and it's not so in your face that it gets annoying. And I remember that about Skyrim. I really loved the music in Skyrim, but the combat music was always the same, and it was too intrusive in my opinion, so it got really annoying every time I was in a combat situation. This doesn't feel that intrusive, and it doesn't feel like it's taking you out of the experience. It's just kind of subtle, but when you want to tune in and listen to it, goddamn is it just amazing. The music is just so charming, you know. When you're in a light, safe area, it really makes you feel, you know, just this warmth of just, it just makes you feel really relaxed and safe and warm. I know it sounds a little bit like, ooh, get me to my safe space, I need my safe space, but you know, it's really nice, and it does feel like something out of Lord of the Rings or something. Valheim is a survival crafting game. Like I said, it's very much like Minecraft in that regard, and all of these other survival games, okay? But what makes this so different is it takes elements from Dark Souls, and what I mean by this is there's different bosses that you have to find and kill, and by killing these bosses, you will basically unlock new features to build. You know, you'll basically go through human history, and you'll go through the Bronze Age, and you're able to upgrade your weapons, and then you'll start crafting, you know, silver and iron to make iron weapons, and then you go through the human evolution progress. So it really does make you feel like, you know, starting from base zero, you know, of humanity, almost like a caveman just running around completely naked with a stick, and then you go through becoming a great Viking warrior with, you know, iron swords and all this amazing stuff, and that is so cool to see. And the bosses are engaging, and the bosses are super engaging, and they're all unique, and there's going to be more added, so that's pretty amazing. It just does everything so differently from other games, even though, you know, like I said, other games like this do exist, but it takes all of the best aspects from all these other games and then just blends it so well. The real thing that I love about Valheim is, like I said, it combines those 5 games that I talked about, and everything feels purposeful. Everything feels like you're really improving. So if you like the progression system from Skyrim, which is one of the best progression systems in my opinion, where you're not putting anything into perk points, which just feels like kind of detached, what you do is how you basically improve yourself, just like real life. If I sit on my ass all day, I'm not going to improve myself, but if I do some push-ups, I'm going to get more muscle. If I practice swimming, I'm going to get better at swimming. And it works like that, which is so cool, and I love that design. And then you get this little moist meter, so it really does feel like you're progressing. The animations are just super smooth as well. The combat was a little bit janky to begin with. I thought it wasn't that great, and it took me a while to get used to it, but now I'm starting to get used to it, and I'm enjoying the combat. Yes, this game is early access, so of course it's got jank. Like I said, when you're fighting, it does sometimes feel a bit janky. It doesn't feel like as smooth as Dark Souls, for example, even though it's trying to capture a Dark Souls type of combat, but it just doesn't feel as smooth. But it still does work, and it has impact. That's one of the most important things. It does feel like you actually have impact. A lot of these games just feels like you're slashing thin air. It's very hard to describe, but Valheim does actually feel like you're hitting something. It has good hit detection, and that is really important in a game. If you're a sad nerd, that's very important. Another reason why Valheim is amazing is also because, like I said, it takes elements from all these different types of games, you know, and it takes the elements of these 5 games I've mentioned, and they are all quality games, so of course it's going to be amazing, but everything feels legit, even though it's obviously, you know, a very weird world. Okay, it feels like it could exist. I never felt like I'm not immersed. When I'm playing this game, I'm actually immersed, even though the graphics aren't super realistic, even though some things may be a little bit repetitive. I always feel engaged in what I'm doing, and I think the reason how they managed to do this is because they've made the world feel real. Everything has actual physics, which is great. Not everything, but a lot of things. So when you cut down a tree, it's exactly like Zelda Breath in the Wild, okay, pretty much. And it's so cool to see, because even small details like that, real physics, are just to me, they really make games engaging, and they really make me way more engaged than just shiny graphics and a sleek combat system. If something actually has real weight to it, then that to me is far more engaging. That's why I love GTA 4 so much more than GTA 5. So, like I said, there are many survival games out there, but what makes Valheim so good, and why Valheim is Game of the Year, is because it does all of these different elements. Not only has it got a Viking theme, which means, yes, you're going to build ships, yes, you're going to explore the ocean as well. Like I said, it has real systems in place, so the weather can actually affect everything in the game. So, you know, when you build a house, you actually have to think about building it in a realistic fashion. If you build a fire but you don't have a chimney, you're just gonna smoke yourself out, which is pretty cool. And, you know, if a troll comes in and knocks down your house, it's not gonna be like in Skyrim where it's not impacted. Your house is actually going to shatter, or if you build it by the sea and there's a huge storm, your house will actually take damage and get flooded. All of these things make the game feel really rewarding, and exploration feels so tense and dangerous because, yes, you can just go back to your grave once you die and get your stuff back, but then you lose all of your abilities pretty much, so it's very dangerous to go and get it, especially if you go super far away from your original base, which makes exploration feel super tense. And the combat is actually difficult. You know, it's not difficult because it's janky, and sometimes, yeah, it can be a little bit of jank, like I said, but most of the time it's difficult for the right reasons. Like I said, it's really trying to emulate the Dark Souls combat, so basically you've got to learn the enemy's pattern and basically learn how to time your attacks and stuff like that, so that's really rewarding to me as well. Valheim is good single player as well as multiplayer, okay? I've played it multiplayer with my friend, which I have really enjoyed. You know, there's not many multiplayer games that I can really sink my teeth into because I just feel like they are completely surface level, but this is a really good game, so it means I have a chance to actually really get immersed in a game, and then that gives me more quality time with someone I like, so that's really cool. But also Valheim is really great in single player because, like I said, it's just so engaging. I'm sure it's going to get repetitive. This kind of game will get repetitive eventually, like most things in life get repetitive, like sitting in your home every single day, cough cough, UK government, is repetitive. But so far, this game is amazing, okay? Valheim is amazing. Valheim is Game of the Year, 100%, because it just does so many different things right, which make it so unique. It has weight, it has impact, it has real world physics, it has amazing music, it has a unique, charming design, it's beautiful, and the graphics are amazing in my opinion. Everything you do has consequence and impact. Nothing is scripted. All of these adventures you have just happen within the world. I feel like the only things that could make it better is if they added real quests to go on. They added NPCs, that would make it so much more engaging, because after a while, once you've explored the whole world, then yes, of course this is going to get boring, but there's so much to explore, and I'm just so excited to explore it. And, you know, like I said, it does get a little bit repetitive like any other game, but the variation and the idea of just doing your own adventure is what makes this game so unique, and I haven't experienced a game like this in so long. It's been so long since I found a game that I actually really enjoyed, and I've just enjoyed getting lost in the world, not so much about the story, not so much about the characters, which usually engage me in video games. This just has taken me back to the base instincts of enjoying video games, and that is so charming and so refreshing. You know, when I first heard about Valheim, I was so skeptical, and I just completely ignored it until, you know, my friend convinced me to get it, and I'm so glad he did, because he's right, and so the gaming community is right, and we really need to encourage and promote these types of game developers and then boycott the mainstream game developers, because then we can actually change the industry and change consumer capitalism and promote quality products and quality companies and corporations and developers who actually care about the community and aren't just greedy, soulless scumbags. And that's highly important, not just in the gaming industry, but whatever you consume, make sure you consume the right things. And if we come together as a community, we can actually change the industry. So yes, that's Valheim, boys. That's why I love Valheim so much. I rambled on a long time, but I just really enjoyed talking about this game. There's so much more to go into. There's so much more to go into detail about this game, like the cooking and all the perks. You know, it really does feel like a grand adventure, like Zelda, if it was multiplayer, like, you know, if Lord of the Rings was, if they had a really good, the setting is really unique. I feel like it could have been even better in a more wacky fantasy world, almost like Lord of the Rings, but this mixes everything so well. It's not like purely Viking, it is very high fantasy, and the way you just make your own quests and dangers, that's just so cool to me. The only thing is the jank, which I don't like, and of course I just think it would be much better with NPCs and quests. But yeah, that's Valheim, and I really do enjoy it. Let me know your opinions down below. Do you think Valheim is Game of the Year? I think Valheim is Game of the Year, and I think Valheim is amazing. So let me know your opinions down below, boys. Jump on, and if you want me to stream, maybe I'll live stream. When I hit 5,000 subscribers, I am going to do a live stream, so maybe I can do a live stream of this, I don't know. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, my boys. I'll see you in the next video. Have a nice day, and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you down below in the comments. Bye-bye.